Hello and welcome to Enter the Dragon Tamers Den, a Pokemon Go PvP podcast and the official podcast of the Battle Frontier. I am TacoDog8.
And I am JetForceGemini.
And if you're new around here, welcome. Like I said at the start, we're a Pokemon Go PvP podcast that primarily focuses on the grassroots esports known as the Battle Frontier. It's just team-based PvP, show 6, pick 3, and all of its fun jazz. If you're not new around here, I probably should have shaved my head again because the amount of news that dropped and the amount of discussions that have happened. Okay. But first, if we get into that, we gotta do with pleasantries. Jet, how was your week?
I don't know if it counts as this week still, but a little salty that I didn't get a shiny Heracross from that event that we had.
That's okay. I'll save a few when I go down.
I at least had one from last GoFest that I didn't remember until I went and checked the bank just right before we went out to do raids. I was like, oh right, I did at least have one. So, thankfully, because it feels bad to not get the shine when you do 30 raids or whatever. But it is what it is.
I felt that.
Yeah. Bellsprout was fine. I don't know if this happened to you, but as far as more unlikely events are concerned compared to previous community days, we encountered a single tiny Bellsprout and a single huge Bellsprout for the entire duration of the community day.
I can echo that sentiment. I got one XXS Bellsprout and 3 XXL Bellsprouts.
Well, at least you lean the right direction for getting into the showcases and stuff.
Yeah, I didn't mind it too much. Like I mean, something weird, incredible actually happened on a little bit for me. I maxed out my Pokemon storage in the middle of community day. So I said,
what number is that again?
So I haven't bought all of them. I'm at 6,800.
Oh, okay.
I should, but I'm just lazy.
So you just mean that you saw the little orange dot in your Pokeball?
Yep.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So
okay.
I transferred all the Bellsprouts.
I did buy more space because I was sitting on the Heracrosses still, like hoping to trade some for XLs, and hadn't done that. So I was like, well, I'll get 50 more spots and not have to think about it.
If they ever do unlimited trade distance, like just for an event, I will trade all my Heracross to you as long as you trade them to me.
Well, and it's one of those things, like they did prove that they can. So it's more than possible, and they're just keeping it from us.
Yeah, they just don't want to, which is meh. Well, that was good. Mega Heracross, you had fun on 420 69 day Bellsprout, I still can't believe they did it as a joke, but
yeah, the funnest part was we went to the same place. We went for Litten Day, and we were there maybe 5 minutes, and we found a wild hundo again.
Oh goodness!
not the shundo this time, but just a hundo.
Maybe I should go out to where you normally play. I'll take a train or a plane out there, and I want to get in on this hundo hunting.
Yeah, it's a really nice walk. I think you would be happy with your decision.
All right, I'll chalk that up to another reason why one day I'll return to California.
Yeah, and then maybe there'll also be a task related event where I can show you the other spot that we go that's more dense with the Pokestops.
Ooh, I'm gonna plan for that at some point. All right. Well, the rest of my week was pretty good. I finally packed, even though I leave in 2 weeks. But
you're ready.
Yeah, the everything is packed up because I know me. if I leave it to like the last couple of days, I'm gonna forget something. Never fails.
Yeah, and you have time to realize that you've forgotten things. Like obviously, there's some stuff that you need in the everyday that doesn't go in, but
yeah. So I packed everything that's pretty much packed except my Nintendo Switch and my chargers. You know, apparently because I've gone to the dentist like so many times and I always get a toothbrush. If I'm all right, I'm packing that. I'll never probably use it again.
Yeah, you have enough duplicates that you can get away with just throwing the new one in.
Yeah, I did remember where I was staying has a Pokestop. So you're gonna start getting the same Pokestop every single day because
that'll be good.
It's 20 feet.
When was the last time you sent me a gift?
Last week, because I took last week probably because like I took some time off when I played this game because Niantic broke their game again.
But, I mean, you'll have to be more specific.
Yeah, they broke their game with battling. I think Heracross Raid Day was the last time I did GBO. But let me check because it says for you. I'm checking. Oh yeah, you sent me a gift a while ago. I'll open it.
I'm gonna say I played out the last days of Jungle Cup. I think I was running the Steelix Dragalgi Altaria. It was just fun. It was just nonsense. So it was a good time.
I still am gonna say like I'll make lucky friends with like someone else before I'll get to you, and that makes me sad.
We'll figure it out.
I remember telling my friend, I was like, hey, at April 1st, I told him, hey, we are 23 days from best friends. We're supposed to hit best friends tomorrow. Or we're like 11 days for best friends. It's now the 22nd of April, and I'm 3 days away from best friends. Like, I am so bad at opening gifts. So I'm just gonna send these gifts.
Is Basculin an event spawn?
No.
Huh.
It shouldn't be.
There's 2 Basculin on my nearby, which I haven't seen in a long time.
Like the white stripe Basculin?
No, it's blue.
Oh. Alright. Yay, I got Ultra Friends with someone today. I'm at 10 million XP now. Into 47.
Good job. You're chipping away at it.
I swear, once you hit level 40, you can just play the rest of the game. Like, there is no... You'll hit level 50 when you hit level 50. I'm saying that at level 47. I'm halfway to level 50, y'all.
And then there's some people who refuse to go past level 42, I think, as it is.
No, I think level 41, because like you have to evolve Eevee. You have to evolve Eevee into its different forms. And guys, it's Eevee.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. All right, pleasantries aside, we now have to talk about the big news that was dropped. So first, we're gonna order this with Niantic, and then we're gonna get into Battle Frontier. And this will probably be the longer part of the episode because I'm gonna call Zephelrose out here. The Mad Lad waited until Tuesday after we recorded to start dropping news like they were bombshells left and right. Am I salty? Yes, very much.
That was a great time for us.
I was so mad. I said, I was like, Rose, why do you do this? And he sent me the Dave Chappelle gift because F him, that's why. He goes, I have a gift for this, y'all. I hardly get to use it. And I go, I'm pretty sure that's wrong, but hey, your reaction folder is very different from mine, so we're gonna just call it that.
It felt right to them.
Yeah. All right. So first things first, Niantic news. We had, and rest in peace to all the old avatars. We had the, I guess, update for the avatars, and yeah, it was an update.
Well,
not in...
you got to experience the horror that I did when I was driving down to San Diego the last couple times. So I hope that lessened the blow slightly, just that you knew, like, at least in an abstract way, that it was hideous.
in a very reminiscent GIF that is sent out every now and then. Look how they massacred my boy.
Yeah.
It was depressing. Like,
I'm actually surprised. I think it was on one of the Pokemon news sites that I follow, that Niantic has made some kind of public mention that they do want feedback on it. I'm just like, what?
Oh, you're finally going to hashtag hear us Niantic. Okay.
Well, and to me, there was a time and place for that. It was when you were doing the test, or doing the beta in your smaller markets. Like, no one liked this. there was a time, like, did you just not believe them? And then it was literally everyone.
I would say the only thing I'm going to say about it is, I got to pick and choose my words carefully, because I might say something or in open mouth insert foot. I'm prone to doing that, but
yeah,
I understand that there might have needed to be a update to the avatars, but man, this was not it. Absolutely not. No.
Well,
no.
And it's such a half measure, right? Like, you have parts of it, like the body customization, where it's like, oh yeah, here you have 5 sliders, and like, but there does not exist anything, even like, there is not also that same option for your face.
You get to choose between porcelain doll, or I don't know what the other one was.
Well, and it's so odd, because essentially the thing now that is choosing the quote unquote gender of your avatar is which face model you pick, right? Like, because they removed that tab, and were kind of congratulating themselves on the inclusivity there. And it's such a weird, hi Kelly. It's odd all the way through. It is just odd.
Well, the other way is, like, I'm going to hit on the skin tones, because there's 25 different, skin tone or tones that can be chosen on your character. Unfortunately, and I have a little graph pulled up that one of my locals actually took the time to look at. There's 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of them, if you choose that certain one, your character is pasty white. Like, my character, I was shocked. When the update went live, my character looked like he had not come out of his mother's basement for the last 20 years and did not know what the sun looked like.
Yeah.
It was so transparent. If he walked outside to go touch grass, the beacons would have been lit and Gondor would have been calling for aid. It was jarring. Yes.
Yeah.
It was jarring. Like, so I changed my character to the best of my abilities. He doesn't look anything like me. It makes me sad. Like,
well,
he looks like me before I lost the weight from riding my bicycle. And then the next option makes me look like what I looked like when I was like in 4th grade, and I didn't eat.
Yeah. Well, and that I think is the bigger issue, is like, there isn't a good way to, like, appropriately represent yourself in an age way. like leaving a lot of the stuff aside, like the big one that I've heard, like, aside from like facial hair and just like height as as basic things that should probably be available to pick from, are like to me, it's a weird move when I have yet to hear I've yet to hear anyone talk about like going through customizing their avatar and like even like getting it to a point where it was palatable. Like, and I don't even mean like, oh, I need it to be attractive. I just need it to not like make me sad. it has been a struggle. Like if I go through my friends list, the vast majority of people have some variety of mask on, right?
I think I'm gonna have to get to that part. I don't want to.
Well, and it's like I feel lucky that I had the Verizon one I could just chuck on, where it's like, okay, well, that doesn't take an investment.
Yeah. And the other thing is the avatars look weird. Like your top character will look semi-normal, and then like when you get to the hands, you'll have like clown-sized hands, and like the lower half of you will look like where it's like this, and then I'm not in the frame, so it'll look like this. Dimensions are hard, Taco. So you look like this, and then you'll get to like the torso part, and it'll just shrink to this part, and then like it. Yeah.
The one I struggled with was the head, because no matter what you do with the rest of the body, it doesn't seem to adjust proportionally.
Yeah, I look like a bobblehead.
And it works both ways. Like if you try to represent yourself as like a medium to large build person, then you just have this tiny like pea head on top.
Look, I'm gonna let you know, when I was a kid, I had a giant head. Like I was compared to a watermelon sized head, or what's the word? Did you ever used to watch that old show, George Lopez?
Familiar with who George Lopez is.
Okay, so he had a TV show like in the early 2000s. God, that was 20 years ago. Oh, I feel older. Anyway, he had a show in the early 2000s.
The distant future.
Yeah,
the year 2000.
And whenever they would go to flashbacks on about him as a kid, they would take George Lopez's normal head and then like put it on the body of a kid.
Oh yeah.
But the way that they made it look, it was like the head was like this big and the body was like this. So you'd be walking around looking like a literal like Mr. Mackey from South Park, for lack of a better way to describe it. And that's what I looked like growing up. Like I had just a big head and the rest of my body just like grew into it. And looking at the Pokemon Go, the head just itself, it's like, so this is what it feels like to have a shrunken head. Like,
yeah, what kind of voodoo happened here?
Like, I enjoy this, sort of, but
yeah, there's like there's a certain amount of like body horror to it also. Or I mean, obviously there were quite a few people who just went and made themselves as massive as possible because it was ridiculous. The one that struck me just as, again, a strange business decision, I guess, is what is as close as I can get to calling it a thing, if we're calling these decisions, is that it's not even like you don't even get to the halfway point on the slider before your character is like very visibly overweight. Whereas like, who was in charge of like making the like spectrum that this was on?
Yeah, I'm waiting for Niantic to roll out and say this. Thank you for giving your feedback during the alpha test. Stay tuned for the beta test on this.
Yeah, well, and that would like make so much more sense, right? But this is yet another one of those. Niantic is very clearly not a video game company. Like they just sort of do stuff and they act like they're pioneering things that have been, like what anniversary edition are we on Skyrim now? Like, this is not.
Well,
yeah, this
Skyrim
should not
came
be.
out- Yeah, 2012. No,
This should not
11.
be like that crazy, right? Like, and it like even the RPG mobile games, like they go out of their way to give you that level of customization because that it's just expected. Like, it feels like such a weird half measure, and then the fact that there was no like way to walk it back or like do classic graphics. Interesting choice, which actually reminded me then of the other odd thing. Like, you said you haven't played GBL in a week, right?
correct.
So if you like, even if you've just been watching people stream their sets on Twitch, you'll notice that after every single set, they're getting all of the things they unlocked this season. Because when they went to do the changeover for the graphics on the avatars, they essentially took a snapshot of everyone's avatar and like everyone's, I assume that also meant inventory. And there was a gap then between that snapshot and when they actually rolled out the new feature, where some people hit legend, unlocked the new pose, and then as soon as like this or whatever it was, and when they went to look at their avatars, like, oh wait, this is like my old pose, this is my old outfit or whatever, and then the stuff that they unlocked or bought was missing. It was just like there were a few missteps here.
Yeah, I didn't realize Niantic could Niantic themselves that badly, but
I mean,
I was
not
wrong.
Yeah, it's not that surprising, right? I think the one who I heard or saw talking about it first was Drade, where it was like literally right after it rolled out, he was in one of the chats saying, "Oh yeah, my pose is gone."
Oh, no.
Or like, and it wasn't just the newest one. There were some of the older ones that were missing, where like clearly they'd done something with inventories as well, because that's always been sort of a hidden aspect of the game, right? Because they integrated it with the store, so it's hard to even know exactly what you have, which has always felt kind of smarmy.
Mm-hmm. God, Niantic, just please. We don't ask for much. Is like, well, no, we do ask for a lot from the community, but we
should really know better by now with expectations. Hello again, Callie.
Callie's back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's depressing. Like, please, Niantic, I beg of you.
They did it
better.
at least because, here we are Monday. Give us something that made everyone pretty universally happy, which was the backgrounds and the map update.
I think that was a good thing. So that was Niantic bad. Now we talk about Niantic W.
Well,
Niantic W, the biomes are here.
Yeah, it's just clean. It's nice. It's such a strange juxtaposition of.
I like the change.
Yeah,
I really do. And I thought, like, so I mainly live in like a semi-rural area. I figured that I would only get the city background. I was wrong. So if I go, like, there's a park, I ride next to a park that has a stream, and if I catch a Pokemon there, it's got the stream background. If I go to the park and there's like if it's like a foresty park, it has the forest background, which I thought was kind of cool. Where I normally play, I get the city background because, well, there's buildings and stuff, concrete jungle.
Yeah.
And so for like, I think that was really good on Niantic's part. The whole rediscover your surroundings or something like that.
World, yeah.
Yeah, rediscover your world. W. Good job, Niantic. See, you could do some things right.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and that one is just such a long time coming, and like should have realistically been pretty easy to do, right? Like,
Well, we didn't think they'd screw up the avatars, but you know.
well, but we also didn't really ask for that in the same way.
You're not wrong. Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
this one is actually like related to the game, just in a way of being able to finally interact with biomes. Actually, you kind of just had to make some intellectual guesses on when you entered the mountain or the forest or the, like, if you had a pool that got marked as a water biome, or like I think I've heard about some people talk about if they have a neighborhood that has all water related street names, that got set like as a water biome no matter where it was located, which I found really amusing.
Okay, so I live off of a street that's named after a tree. I could get forest spawned. Let's go.
Well, and this is an old thing, so if it's something you've noticed, just as compared to the spawns that they've been public about compared to forest biomes, like it'd be interesting to know, just on that level. But yeah, the whole being able to actually see a biome, big ups. And then also I played around with the whole disabling the advanced graphics, just because I do like my battery to last. Or enhanced graphics is what the actual like tab is called.
Is that under advanced settings?
Yeah, as far as I can tell, the only things that you really lose are kind of the big moving cloud shadows.
You know, I'm doing this at night and it's not really showing up too much, so I'll probably do it in the morning to see what it looks like.
So, well, and the thing that I like about it is you're not giving up the quality of life advantages that they're giving us, which has always kind of felt like what the trade-off is for any kind of battery saving of the options that we've had. Where you're literally just checking out on performance for the game, and depending on what you play on, you may actually be saving your performance by turning off all the extraneous extra stuff that they've added.
Yeah, my S21 is still kicking at pretty decent deal at the enhanced graphics turned on, so I'm not too worried about that.
I just like that it is immediately an option, and it doesn't feel like I'm missing anything by having it turned off.
Yeah. All right. Niantic news, we have a hatch day coming up this weekend. Or the 28th, excuse me, I think. That's when it is.
I definitely thought that the hatch event was just part of the event this week. Yeah. I was like, why didn't my egg get reduced?
Yeah, the egg hatch event is just a cash grab. I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. You think you can get Cleffa? No, don't care.
Oh, right, Cleffa.
Other than that,
I think I got confused because they have the boosted shiny rate on the 2K eggs this week.
Oh, yes.
For the event Pokemon.
Oh, it's 4 times Stardust this week for Pokemon Go Battle League. I should probably start doing that.
Yeah, I'm curious if we have it next week. We have May the 4th is a Go Battle weekend, but
according to this, April 26th to May 3rd, we have Great League and Master Premier. There is no 4 times Stardust on that one.
Okay, well, that's interesting because, you know, historically, anytime quote unquote Master League is around, we've had the bonus dust, and Master Premier is Master League.
You're not wrong, and that is a very out there thing. So
yeah, the continuity is what I'm curious about. But it has been on now for 2 weeks, or will have been on for 2 weeks. So I also understand now you lose it for a week, but you get Go Battle Weekend where you get it back.
Yeah. All right, so that's Niantic news. Or we don't have anything else, right?
There's the Discover Your Reality that's coming next, the new AR update, which I don't think we've talked about this yet, but I've actively enjoyed the fact that my buddy encounter stuff is no longer even like the fake AR. Like, it's just in a green room.
Yeah.
Where so I no longer have to take up space on my phone storage, or it's just like, oh, yeah, okay.
So we had one Niantic L with this rediscover part, one Niantic W with the rediscover. So is the rediscover going to be a Niantic L to add, or is it going to be a rare Niantic W? We'll find out soon, and I am waiting with bated breath.
Yeah, such breath that we have. I guess we might as well rapid fire also just why we don't have scores for this week, right? Like, I guess that's technically Niantic news, is that part of what they broke was iOS receiving battle challenges.
I was gonna use it as a segue to go from Niantic into Battle Frontier. So this is as great a segue as any. So the last bit of Niantic news is their update before they released a hotfix, apparently broke the ability for iOS to get a battle challenge. Normally, that wouldn't be so bad. Except in the Battle Frontier, you can only do it through
battle challenge.
Yeah. So with it not working, it's just like, So first, there was an extension granted until 4 hours ago. Then it went live, and the staff, the courageous staff, decided, you know what, we're gonna just extend it another week. But after that, no.
It's bad when there have to be instructions about not clicking rematch.
Yep.
It feels very season 1 to me.
Well, because
the real ones know what I'm talking about.
Oh my god. Well, the other thing is, like, the staff said, in case what happens if you do not click rematch in the current game state indicate. So I'm going to read this as the announcement, word for word. I'll try not to paraphrase. In the case that the player clicks rematch instead of our guideline to back out of the match and resend, oftentimes one of the two players will be kicked to the map and the other player will be able to fully farm down their opponent's team. If this occurs and the affected party has proof of being kicked to the map, please rematch. And I cannot stress this next part enough. This is me adding it. Without the referee's involvement. Do not file a dispute, for the love of Arceus.
You would hope that would be covered in sportsmanship.
Jet, I'm trying very hard not to go on another unhinged rant about sportsmanship. We've had a very good run, okay? It's been 1 month, over a month since that rant. And I'm still not apologizing for that rant.
No.
It was very well needed.
Well, I can add an asterisk to our Niantic W if you need a distraction.
I'm not molding it.
Because we forgot to mention that in their build-up to release the update that everyone likes, they managed to crash both their game and the Pokemon Trainer Club login.
Oh, look, a nickel. It was under my keyboard.
I'd have 10 cents.
I'm.
But it's weird that it's happened twice.
Yep. If I had a nickel,
Yeah.
every time Niantic messed up their game by giving out an update that nobody wanted, I'd be richer than Jeff Bezos right now.
I didn't know he was that hard up.
Oh God, Niantic, please! I beg of you.
How are we doing on our news? What else do we need to do?
Well, we're gonna get to the one that caused literally 3.5 days worth of discussions. So, firstly, Mega Heracross is gonna be banned for, according to the wall of stuff. On April 15th, we're going back. We're going. Yeah.
There's been enough other stuff
pending further testing. That was probably the most of the news that we were going to be. We probably talked about it last week, but we'll talk about it again this week. And now comes the end all be all. Ooh. So, in no particular order, and because the Felrose decided to wait until the day after, we are now covering it now, which means y'all already know the community question that we're asking, so we're going to ask it here after I announce this next part. Great League and Ultra League specialists, be ready. Mega Pokemon will be eligible in Cycle 3. I'm not making that up. The Battle Frontier community had a lot, and I mean a lot, of discussion around it. People arguing for it, people arguing against it. And honestly, not too many people got toxic to where we had to segue the chat into something degenerate. Shout out to Zajin and I, doing the best work. Flareon is still probably the most underrated evolution. But that would probably be the only compliment that I will give Flareon. So, what does this mean? Honestly, and you'll probably find out what camp I'm going to be in. Mega Pokemon in the Great League are not going to be as meta-defining as everyone thinks they're going to. They are too glassy, and quite frankly, if you bring a Mega, you might as well be playing with 5 Pokemon. Because if that Mega gets hard-walled, you're SOL.
I think I didn't really participate very much in the discussion, so I'm sure there are people who have said it better, but the whole fact that there are a few unique typings in that mix is, I think, the only part that is even slightly attractive to me as far as possibly building something for use as a Mega. I tend to agree with the people who, other Great League specialists who have stated, as I'm sure we'll get to, just that there's already so many options that it feels like an unnecessary addition. But for the people who really like the Megas, I'm sure it's a really exciting announcement for them. It doesn't initially affect me very much, just because I decided long ago that I wasn't going to keep Pokemon that could be built for me. My storage is already in enough of a state, just trying to keep enough stuff that could hit your various bulk and break and CMP stuff, where it's I have too many of Pokemon that are very unlikely to matter, just because it's but what if it's a meta Pokemon that I will want a CMP winning one of? It's not healthy.
Metacham boys rip in the chat. It's so over for them.
Yeah. Well, and at least with Metacham, you can just Mega the Hundo, right, for Ultra League.
Will Metacham come back in the Ultra League? Please, that would be great. I mean, I don't play in the Ultra League, so I've
maybe
advocated.
that's the arena that really will see the most megas. Like there are quite a few where just the stat product period has them see some niche usage or their entire usage in Master League, right? Like whether it's Battle Frontier or draft picks or whatever, like just with how crazy those stats go. But then you have, especially I think with a few of the unreleased megas, it could give them some place to exist because we know they're not getting their. Well, this should also maybe have an asterisk because as far as data mining goes, there are murmurs and whispers of items and abilities potentially being a thing. So
no, please, I beg of you.
It would be nice if they kept not being, but that's just my asterisk for saying. I think Ultra League is probably the arena to watch. That one I think is likely to be the most affected by megas.
See if the community, if the Battle Frontier community really and truly did not want megas in the Ultra League, we should just get rid of the Ultra League and replace it with the Little Cup. It's not like people like the Ultra League to begin with. God, I can't say that with a straight face.
Yeah, I don't think.
I can't say it with a straight face. My goodness.
Especially when you went straight for Little Cup.
I have. I had it up until I said get rid of the Ultra League, but then replacing it with Little Cup was nope. Taco, you done goofed.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just to wrap my point is that there are a few Pokemon, like I'm especially looking at the ones that just become bulk monsters once you mega them, and there's a few that gain a unique typing along the way as well that I think as soon as you hit the Ultra League range will shake things up more than they will in the Great League. Like the one that comes to mind for Great League just as a call out is Altaria, right? Like having that fairy and dragon combination. But the nice thing for us as Go players is that Altaria has pretty limited moveset. So even with the unique typing, it's not like it has a very fast move. It doesn't have. Now it struggles compared to a lot of the meta in Great League in general, just because of the Sky Attack nerf. Like it doesn't have a true bait move.
Yeah. Watch, you're gonna give it Breaking Swipe next update.
It's gonna swipe us with the cloud.
Yes. But that was one thing, and that was the first. That conversation itself lasted. Yeah, so that conversation itself lasted about 3 days. I wish I was making that up.
Yeah.
And I kind of understand it because, when the announcement went live, the EMEA crew was probably, and this is where I'm going to suck with time zones, probably finishing up their dinner and getting ready for bedtime. The APAC region was probably just waking up. I need to go look
when it actually was again, because I'm pretty sure it was.
It was about 8 a.m. your time, 10 p.m. my time.
That was Zygarde.
Oh. It was 7:30 your time, 9:30 my time. So if they're 8 hours, it would be 5 o'clock. Okay, so they were, they were cooking dinner.
Yeah, for both relevant news things.
APAC, no, I'm not getting into that one. That's too hard for me.
They had to find out about it later.
It was probably like midnight their time. Around there. Not even 2 minutes later, there was another drop. And I'm pretty sure this is just a troll at this point, but it's news, so we're talking about it. Since you all loved the Mega announcement so much, we have another one. This one's just for Ultra League specialists. Zygarde Complete will be eligible beginning Cycle 3, which started a chain reaction from Tuesday to Friday morning of non-stop talking about why Zygarde Complete is a bad idea. And this is why I go back to just eliminate the Ultra League, replace it with Little Cup. Big brain.
Meanwhile, I'm up to 20 Zygarde cells.
I think I'm up to 24, 25 now.
Nice.
It's like it's 100 to get it to its 50% form, right? Or is it 50?
I think it's 50, and then the next jump is 100 after that.
Okay. I'll just do more routes eventually. And when I'm down there, I'll make a route and I'll go on a walk with it for it. Like I said, there's a Pokestop by my place, so I can just make a loop. Make it 500 meters. Let's go.
Yeah, I have one that's on my list to check the distance on. The mountain by my place that I like to walk a couple times a week does not have a route on it. I checked last time, and I was like, oh, I was a little disappointed because it seems like routes kind of took off and they're a little bit everywhere now, but Lonely Mountain without a route.
It just means you gotta make the route.
Yeah,
Your phone, you have the phone that can do it now.
Yeah, it can be done.
So this one was more polarizing, and I think I would say it was more polarizing just because there's less Ultra League specialists, because some field specialists will play in the Great League and vice versa. And this one in particular, I mean, I understand the accessibility part. Like, you get one Zygarde Complete. Most trainers have powered it up to the Master League, so they won't be using it.
If they're using it at all, they have it where it does the crazy stuff.
Unless you're me and you have a 10, 14, 12. That's going in the Ultra League. Like, however, what I'm going to say about it is I understand where everyone's coming from. However, I also want to point out that the Ultra League, the meta there, though I haven't played on it, I played on it bits and pieces. There are enough, in my opinion, enough checks to kind of neuter that thing. Like, obviously, it's like, oh, it's so tanky, it's so bulky. I mean, if Megas are allowed, there's a Mega Glalie. And once again, I could be completely wrong about this one. I think Mega Glalie is more attack weighted. Mega Salamence Mega Salamence takes super effective damage from Dragon Tail. I was gonna say Mega Dugong, but no, Dugong doesn't work there. You can still use Poliwrath with the Icy Wind. You're getting like neutral damage, but Icy Wind hits it for super effective damage. Throw in a Mandibuzz for a timeout strategy.
I'm plugging in your Zygarde just to see compared to the maxed out one, like what the stats actually look like.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it'll make more sense to put it in perspective of Ultra League also, but it's got 70 less HP and 40 less defense in Ultra League than it would as the maxed out Master League thing.
And against the meta in the Open Ultra League, It has a 26-14 win rate. So it's got a 65% win rate, but you're losing to things like, Alolan Ninetales, Tapu Fini, Alolan Sandslash, Tentacruel, Venusaur, Poliwrath, Steelix, Annihilate, Feraligatr, Guzzlord, and even Pidgeot. Like, you can beat this thing.
Yeah. And then it's not got stat product even as high as Cresselia. Like, it has 50 more HP than Cresselia, but it's got 70 less defense. So, like, effective HP is lower, I guess. Like, you start to run into, like, this is, again, we're talking about Ultra League stuff where you start to run into actual limitations on damage values functioning the same way that they do in Great League, where it's like, oh, you get to do the whole math instead of just, you two-shot almost everything with the Hydro.
Well, even like with, if you plug it in against all Pokemon that are like can fight in the Open Ultra League, you still get, I know this has happened because Sylveon's a thing. You still get like Sylveon, Clefable, Primarina, Articuno, Regice, Lapras, Walrein, Cetitan. There's just like a couple of lists of things. So you can beat the Zygarde complete.
And maybe this is a good point of comparison, is that for the stat total, it sits pretty much exactly between Giratina Altered and Cresselia.
Yeah, so it's beatable. It's gonna be difficult. Like, I'll be the first one to tell it, but it's gonna be very much doable. And I know people will say like, oh, but we only got one, and like blah blah blah. Okay, you only got one.
Far, yeah.
It's not like they're gonna release a timed research where you can, get another free ticket for a second one.
Yeah, imagine the shiny.
And then you can buy the ticket again. Like,
imagine we had a Legends game coming out that literally has Zygarde in the title.
I don't know, Jet. You're talking what nonsense. Just please stop. That makes too much sense. Mega Flagon, please.
I found almost a exact stat match for Zygarde, which actually doesn't make me happier.
I'm listening.
At least for overall stat product, it is basically a Mandibuzz.
I was trying so hard. Okay, so timeout strategy might become a thing.
But it's a level 50 Mandibuzz. It's not a level 51.
Okay. That doesn't hurt as much. Oh, level 25. Okay.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, is like, even the one you described, the 10, 14, 12 or whatever, is level 24. So much more achievable as far as like actually powering the thing up.
Start walking those routes, because Zygarde complete isn't going anywhere. And don't forget, this list doesn't include the megas.
It'll be interesting to see like just what that does to team builds for Ultra too, right? Because like most of the things that you said are hard counter answers. It'll be most telling if there are no neutral answers to it, because that to me is when you've got an unhealthy Pokemon if you can't beat it neutrally.
There's a lot of neutral answers to it. Those are the ones that like I know that I've seen when I play in the Ultra League. At some point, you have Pokemon like, Pidgeot, which soft beats it, Galarian Zapdos, Gliscor soft loses, Umbreon soft loses, Swampert, Registeel, Virizion, Zarude. I left the thing for all. Empoleon soft loses, Dragonite soft loses, Shadow Gyarados soft loses, Goodra soft loses, Flygon, my boy, unfortunately soft loses. So it's doable, it's playable. There's a lot that soft loses to it, or a lot more that soft loses to it, but there's still a lot of things that can soft beat it as well. So,
okay.
Me personally speaking, I think most of the outrage is coming from the accessibility part. To which, to that I say, sorry.
Well, and I understand from Master League specialists that just didn't get a high IV roll, right? Like, it's a one roll situation.
Is Zygarde tradable?
As far as I know, no.
Okay.
And similar to the new Origin forms, I don't even think you can send it to home.
Okay. I'm gonna try to find that out at my local tomorrow. Okay. Or at my local the day after we recorded this episode. I'll update on Monday. So, with that is our Zygarde complete. Then we had So,
do you want to go down, just because I kind of did a impromptu Megas weekly question thing? Do you want to include that here?
Yes. Okay. We're doing this here.
All right.
So, the community engagement section this week is going to be, what are your thoughts on the Megas coming to the cycle? We've already talked about it in our Discord a little bit, but we want to hear from you as well.
Shout out, as usual, to the Naked Hornet.
I swear, if East Caliber ever goes under, we should just ask the Naked Hornet to be on our team, like our podcast team, as like the math person. Yeah.
I would accept the East Caliber.
But yeah, he would be a great, like, he'd give us a book. I wonder if he does VGC stuff too, like, because I need some EV spreads. I'll ask nicely.
Oh, I forgot you're supposed to be racing to Legend also, now that I'm looking at chat things.
Why did you remind me? I'm trying to lose.
You've given up your weak advantage, so now you're on an even playing field.
Yep, I did. Okay, one last thing that came. It was for the Master League specials in particular. So a couple of days went by, or actually I think it was exactly one day went by. No,
I didn't see Shervine down thumbed my question.
The next thing is the Felrose came out with another announcement. It says, after some discussion with the Master League team, we are looking into some new and exciting ways to structure the Master League format and beyond. As with other announcements, we wanted to make sure this one got plenty of time to prepare, because Zygarde may, keyword may, possibly, maybe, not set in stone, may be eligible for Cycle 3 in the Great League.
In the Master League?
Yeah, sorry, in the Master League. Before the torches and pitchforks come, he did also mention that the team will be taking necessary measures and precautions to make the Master League as balanced but also fun. It's not a confirmation.
Yeah.
Of Zygarde being unbanned. And I'm putting all these pauses in on purpose because
I think if I
talk through it, like,
yeah, the part that has gotten buried is that they're looking at restructuring it, right? Like, yeah. To me, that's great, right? It's a meta that needs some help like in a show 6 situation, just to keep things fun.
Yeah.
And I feel like historically they've kind of gotten the least love.
It's mainly because it's so hard to build a Master League meta that is fun and balanced. Because I know, like, we'll look back and it's like, well, we let Mega Gengar in the format. How many times did we say the following phrase, Jet? Like in our last episodes. So this Master League specialist brought Florges, Mega Gengar, Gyarados. Or some variation to Mega Gengar counter, or something that beats the team once Mega Gengar is off the field. Mega Gengar answer.
Yeah, well, and it was obvious to us, even as non-Master League players for the most part, that there was just a very strong definition on that meta, right? And I am intrigued just what outside of a tiering structure they can do for Master League, outside of like banning the top 50 or 100 Pokemon, right? And why would you want to build that other stuff is also then like the question mark is like, is variety enough of a reason on its own to max out some new stuff? I don't even know what that even what's number 100 on Master League open list right now.
I'm gonna check right now as well.
Just see what kind of stuff. Thundurus, Therian, Articuno, Guzzlord.
Wait. I can't use my XL Vaporeon in the Master League. It's ranked it's ranked 99, Jet. Let me use Vaporeon.
Can't use it. I can't use Raikou. It's a number 91, so
you can't even use a Shadow Raikou either.
Yeah, Angry. I mean that's even higher up. Yeah, well, and it's kind of crazy to me that Togekiss is at 89 now. But I suspect that that's got a different look as soon as you pull up Premiere. But anyway, those are kind of the things that come to mind for how could you even do Master League differently, because
how about the top 59? Because anything above an 80 in score is technically viable, so 79 and below. That would give us number 60 below. You know, we can still use Raikou, we can still use Vaporeon. Just saying.
Well, and the way they're phrasing it makes it sound like they're trying to do like what they've done for Ultra League, which is like actually give them a meta. And I wonder if that's something that you have to take a whitelist approach to, similar to some of the most restricted Sylph metas. Like some of them were my favorites, like through playing them, like when we did, I forget which season that was, where it was like one of the regional metas where it was that like 40 Pokemon whitelist, or
I know what you're talking about. I hate it.
I just don't remember the name. Well, there were Pokemon I liked on it, and there was a lot of neutral play. So
Timeless.
I don't think that one.
Wasn't it like you choose one starter and then you build a team around a white list of Pokemon?
I don't think that's the one I'm thinking of, but I think it was literally just like, here, pick from these 40 Pokemon. Which could be crafted in an interesting way for Master League, right? Mm-hmm. And it would be something that hasn't been done yet. When I think of what I've seen for Master League in not just team capacity, but also solo play. It's kind of just either you have a point value tier list or you have like a draft that includes bans, and that's kind of it, right?
Yeah.
It's like most people know better than to just leave it open.
What if they did like the Fantasy Cup for Master League?
Well, and that's my question, right? Is what can you make for Master League? Because it doesn't really, it like, I can't even think of a time where it was really attempted. Like, all the focus goes to Great League and then very occasionally also Ultra League, just to keep things interesting enough.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think of the number of players in the meta, it makes the most sense to put like your focus on Great League, because out of your 7 slots, 5 of them are playing Great League.
But I think like with the 14 people on the Master League meta team, which I don't know about, nor do I care to know about, or I'm not going to ask what their records are, or their record of, making metas, because no, just
well, and that's not what it is. What it's about, right? It is a little sad that it's that the like most interesting part of the announcement got buried under Zygarde.
Yeah.
Just the fact that it might be included compared to, hey, we're looking at how to make Master League more fun. Or at least a little, like, enough new and different to try.
So real quick, I typed in Fantasy Cup, like, for, like, wait a second. Fantasy Cup was just Dragon, Fairy, and Steel, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Dragon, Fairy, and Steel. Yeah, because I typed Sylph regular Fantasy Cup, and it gave me, like, a bunch of other stuff. So that's loading. I'm not going to talk about it a little bit. But okay, here it goes. Number 1 Pokemon, Solgaleo. Like, this is for the Master League. Solgaleo, Xerneas, Heatran, Mega Caesar, Mega Latias. That's your top 5. Zygarde Complete, Mega Aggron, Giratina, Origin, Shadow Excadrill, Reshiram is in the top 10. You could technically create something out of that. Obviously, I'm seeing the very unfortunate Solgaleo Zygarde core that we try to stay away from, but it's not like unbeatable, right? If you're a Master League specialist, let me know, like, why is the Solgaleo Zygarde Complete core so difficult to beat or break? Because I don't know the answer to that. I wish I did.
It's one of those when so many of the top Pokemon are dragon types, like anything that's good against dragon is good. And then that goes double for the steel types, because then they're also good against the thing that's good against the dragons.
Okay.
Is at least how I think of that particular duo.
I guess because they also cover really well. You've got that Steel Psychic, which, Zygarde Complete can kind of hit everything for neutral or better. So, and they're both, I think they're very bulky mons, so it's not like you can knock them out of the sky, per se. Things are hard for me. Like I said, it's difficult for me to try to pinpoint the reason being, because I don't play Master League that much. but it's there. We've also been recording for about an hour, and we're still talking about news. It's great.
Well, when you have no matches to discuss because of how much news there was, or at least partly because of the news things.
Yeah. At least we can talk about the meta usage for last week.
True. We do have the week one.
And I may or may not have gotten that ready and pulled up, and here it is. In all of its
you didn't read the comments from the people.
Oh, okay, fine.
On the megas.
You're right. We should do that first. All right, here we go. Weekly questions answer. All right, so you questioned megas at Jet 2:40 in the morning.
That's not weird for me.
Yeah, that's like Wednesday and early in the morning.
I gave the people what they wanted.
You did, yeah, that you did. So yeah, Sherveen voted thumbs down, which, I mean, he gave his thoughts in the other chat, which I'm gonna pull it out of. I'm gonna find it here. I was talking about it so far. Oh, Sherveen said maybe a hot take, but I'm not thrilled about either announcement. Which is fair. Like, that's not. I wouldn't say that's a piping hot take, because that was like half of the people were not thrilled about it.
Yeah.
So the Naked Hornet said, I don't expect them to make much of a splash in Open Great League or Open Ultra League, and he really doesn't understand the backlash. None of them are going to be centralizing to the meta, and it opens up a few interesting side doors for unique typing combinations like Zard X Altaria. I did see an argument that it means people will be less prepared to scrim with some teammates, as some people might not have the spare mega energy to build a copy for practice, which I can understand to be frustrating. In general, though, I don't think they represent accessibility problems for top-tier options in the meta, and now that the energy has been available without raiding across multiple events, I think that the accessibility barrier is somewhat broken. I agree. Mostly. Here's why. Number one, you get mega energy by doing the mega raids, you get mega energy by doing the quests, the research, and you get mega energy by walking your buddy that has previously mega evolved.
Well, and to me, that last one is a big part of the problem. Like, why can't you walk a species eligible for mega evolution to make up that initial energy? Like,
because that would make too much sense, Jet. We have to sound like
then we wouldn't be forced
to make much sense.
We wouldn't be forced to do the raids, I guess. But at least they made those easier. Like, that was one of the earliest issues with them, is that they were too hard and didn't actually give you something necessary.
Honestly, the way I kind of look at it is, I guess for me, like, what I'll do is I'll gain enough mega energy to evolve a Pokemon one time. Like Alakazam, I did one mega raid, and it got, or two mega raids actually, because I needed enough to put me over the hump. But that one raid, or those two raids I did, I now have the Mega Alakazam at level 3 because I set it as my buddy, and I walked the absolute stuffing out of that thing. Its legs were like tree trunks when the time I was done with it. Mega Alakazam got swole. But, you know, I guess for me it's like, well, Taco, you just ride your bike everywhere. And to that I will say, are you really going to use that as a point to go after me about? Like, really? I have a bicycle because well, not because, but I use my bicycle because I use the 5 mile rule, which is if you live 5 miles or less from your job, you don't need a car. But Taco, no, there is no but Taco. there is absolutely no but. It's like, but Taco, I live in a very cold area. Fam, I'm gonna let you know right now. There are a lot of ways to get around Pokemon Go playing in the winter. If you need tips, my DMs are open. They'll just sit in message requests for like a week or two.
Yeah.
But that's the side. So like all my steps got counted. Whether I have the phone on like strapped to my leg and it's when I'm pedaling it counts as steps, or you put it on the handlebar with Pokemon Go opened up and you're traveling less than 6 miles an hour. Yes, I checked. With that being said, however, the accessibility is there. 5 kilometers for like a Mega Salamence. I remember I had like 22 energy, and then I walked it for a month, and now I'm sitting at like 2,000. I don't have a Mega Salamence energy problem anymore.
I'm impressed by, because some of the comments were just people showing like their Mega decks. I'm impressed by how few of them some people have. Like, just to kind of, I guess, give my experience on Megas, like every Mega that I have registered is at Mega 3, and the vast majority of them I've done just as the free evolution track. Like, it's taken however many months to get them all there, but there's a couple notable ones I just haven't done yet because I don't have hundos that I am being very stubborn about. But it's not something I even hardly think about anymore, and the bigger advantage of having them is that XL candy bonus, and just wanting the biggest variety of typings for what I could be hunting XLs for is why I have them.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to me that Shervine, who has played Ultra League a number of times, like is missing over half of them, and
I'm at 37 out of 40. I'm missing Lopunny. Well, technically the Heracross, I just haven't Mega Evolved it yet, but I have the candy for it.
Yeah,
Lopunny and Absol are my only two missing.
Yeah, so the two that I don't have evolved, quote unquote, are Caesar and Rayquaza. Again, not because I don't have the energy. I think like the ones I have the least energy for are random. Like, I want to say like Sableye I only have maybe a couple hundred. I went hard for Absol trying to get that hundo before I gave up. But yeah, like, unfortunately, it feels like some of the ones that could matter are the ones that I have the least energy for, as far as looking at them from an outside Master League perspective. So things like the Sableye that I mentioned are very likely to be a thing. Medi also kind of in a similar range, where it's not like I have none, but I don't have that infinite bank that I do for some of the ones that I did a bunch of raids for, especially when it came time to just like use some of my free passes, or like they've had events or whatever other reason, like the Mega Laddies or the Primals, where like it is just worth it to have them because they're such heavy hitters. Where I think some of the other comments that come up are also relevant. Like, I mentioned that I'm not gonna, and I haven't been saving things to build for megas. Where it would have to be now something that I also check the tab on when I'm checking IVs for the base form. Similar to checking for like Little Cup, I guess.
Yeah, and kind of like just, I guess the way that I'm kind of looking at it is I don't have really an issue with it. Like, megas are megas. I'm at, oof. At this point, I'm getting closer and closer to getting everything to mega level 3, so I won't have an issue, which I'm happy about.
Yeah.
But even then, like I said, like I said at the megas part, I agree with the Naked Hornets take, because it's not really necessary. They're not gonna be broken. They're not gonna be like meta defining in the open Great League. Oh shoot, I have 10 days to go for Mega Tyranitar. And it's just, I think it's kind of blown out of proportion. Like, they're not going to be meta breaking. Teammate Donut said accessibility has never mattered to Niantic. And then the Naked Hornet brought a follow-up that said, I tend to think of Mega Energy as something that everyone naturally accumulates via quests and special research. Yeah. Outside of the Primals, Latias, and event releases like Garchomp and Heracross, I can't remember the last time I did a regular Mega Raid, and it's still just a resource that builds up over time. And now that I think about it, I can't remember the last time I did a Mega Raid.
I know I was doing the Mega Caesar raids when they were out alongside Genesect, just because both of them were easy duos, and it was like something just to burn free passes on.
And that's fair. Like, oh yeah, my Mega Medicham is level 3.
The only problem, like, with mentioning the levels of things that we have is that those are the established ones, right? Like, even from now, if we wanted to try to make megas for next cycle, like, you would maybe get to mega level 2, and that would be burning through a bunch of energy to do it, right?
Yeah, it would, unfortunately.
Also, it's funny how silly my catch rate looks on these.
Oh yeah, I try not to look too. What's the word? Try not to look too deep into it.
Well, it's weighted by when you actually mega'd the Pokemon
versus when you saw it in raids.
Well, versus how many you've actually like caught the Pokemon from the raid, because like essentially they're easy catches, right? Apart from the legendary quote-unquote megas that give you fewer balls to catch them with for some reason. I think we talked about briefly on another episode.
Yes, we very much did. Now I'm running low on some Charizard Mega Energy. I only have like 500, but you know, it's there. That's usually what I would say. But it's like, I think it's 5 kilometers to get Mega Energy for it. Like, you get 5 Mega Energy per candy. So it's gonna take time.
I think it's set to be based around the 3 kilometer, giving you 15. So like the 1 kilometer candy Pokemon get you 5 energy per candy.
Well, today I learned then.
I'm pretty sure is how it works. And it just kind of scales that way. So like for the 5 kilometer ones, they get you 25, etc.
Gotcha. Okay.
But again, that's assuming that you have mega'd one in the first place. It is weird to me that the only mega energy you get from like passive play is Beedrill, where sometimes you spin a gym and you just get Beedrill energy. I did see on some of the raids recently I was getting Mega Blastoise or Swampert energy randomly. I'm like, okay.
You max out at 9,999 mega energy, correct?
I don't know if it has a cap anymore. I know it for a long time was 2,000, right? And then they removed it. And then I don't know if there is a cap. Like, again, I feel like that's just as part of making the megas easier. Like, it was less of a, I need to stock up as much as I can. And like, even the Beedrill that for me was just forever capped at the 2,000. Like, I have 7,200 mega Beedrill energy now.
Yeah, I have 7,000 as well.
Yeah, where it's like, okay, I'll never use that because
I wish we could sort it by how much mega energy we have.
Yeah, or even just view that somewhere would be like, let that be a thing in the mega decks since we have a mega Pokédex.
Yeah, I'm up there with like, yeah, Beedrill takes the cake at 7,000. Everyone else is hovering around 1,000.
Yeah, where it's like even the ones that I was super stingy with, like the you can't just search Kyogre from the primal thing.
Aw.
Yeah, because it enters the whole thing into the search bar.
Gotcha.
Today I learned. Anyway, like I have 2,400 for that. 26 for Groudon. Latios, I have 3,900. It's actually higher than I thought. Anyway.
Yeah, so there was a message about Megamons were showing their decks, and then
did we cover Philo's response?
We did not. I was about to get to it. Okay. Philo responded with, I guess I just don't see the point. In Open Great League, there are enough viable Pokemon. We weren't clamoring for more things to run. If the Megas aren't good in Open Great League, why make the exception in the first place? As an Open Great League specialist, I'll keep it in mind, but I probably won't ever run one. I also haven't been saving things for the situation, and while I can appreciate the fact of giving us info with plenty of time spare, I already have 2 Great League Altaras, and I particularly don't want to catch any more Swablu. Once again, valid. As for me, I saved the Megas for just such an occasion. And then the Naked Hoarder responded with, I'm going to probably for like one week, I'm going to rename the weekly question answer channel to the Naked Hornets Battleground.
Or yeah, we'll need to name it in their honor in some way.
Yeah. So he responds with, I guess my angle is more from an anti-bans in general sort of perspective, where if you want to use a Mega, then why were people being kept from using them? I look at it less from the why does it need to be allowed perspective, and more why they should be illegal, as it goes against the fundamentally open nature of the leagues in question. To me, something should only be illegal if it creates undue stress on team construction or play. Lantern and water-based fields warps the meta and should be banned. Mew in the Master League is pretty inaccessible, but it doesn't have enough gravity to change the way I build teams. In Megas and Open Great League, Open Ultra League, to me, seem like they should only be banned in a circumstance that A, some Megas are so broken that teams begin to revolve around ensuring you don't lose to an opponent who has one. As far as I can tell, this isn't the case. B, having a Mega on your team creates scheduling issues. I have 0 Sableye energy and we're scheduled to battle on Thursday. I free Mega Evolve my Pokemon in preparation. Opponent has something come up and ask to push back to Friday. C, some other option I have not thought of. I don't know.
Well,
I think it's option C.
The option B was the one that I was hoping was in this and wasn't like buried in the other chat, because it's the other relevant point, right? Like, just that there are limitations, and like you can almost like as a referee, it will maybe come up to you like in kind of a sucker punch sort of territory, right? Like they baited me into mega evolving my Pokemon and then said that they couldn't battle or whatever. Where it's like, at what point is there do we have to make new rules because that could be a strategy?
I hadn't thought of that.
Well,
I really hadn't, but the way that I would suggest doing that is you don't Mega Evolve your Pokemon from the time you're supposed to battle. Reach out to your opponent, and if they respond that they're ready to go, and they say, all right, send when ready, the minute you get that message, then press Mega Evolve.
Yeah, and that is fair, right? Like, that would be how you would hope it would work. It's just it seems I'm just glad that it's in the conversation already as this will probably need a guideline, right? The danger, of course, is I know that we have had a teammate that forgot to Mega Evolve a Pokemon for their match, and
I hate that you bring this up.
Ended up using. I'm not sure if it counts as an illegal Pokemon when it's such a shot in the foot, but ended up not just remembering to use it at all in the correct form. So from a preparation perspective, I would want my team all ready to go way before that point, just so you're not already in what could be stress mode.
Yeah.
But that's also why you have your teammates, hopefully, is you have some kind of buddy system to perform some of your brain operation for you when you're focused on other stuff.
No, and that makes a lot of sense. What is it? There's probably going to be a lot of nuance to it, but it'll be just, what's the word? There's going to be some conversations to talk about. Obviously, the referee team hasn't really thought about it. Or not thought about it, but the referee team is kind of busy with the playoffs right now, so
yeah,
there'll be a lot of discussion points at the end of the cycle, and I'm sure that the staff will probably have new rules set in place that the referees will either bring up or oh, hey, we didn't think about that. But that's neither here nor there.
I'm just glad it's already being brought up. It's hopefully not going to come out of nowhere as a thing that will at very least need new guidelines,
Yeah.
And once you as a player know that everyone is going to be kind of held accountable at the same level, I feel a lot of the stress will die down. It'll also help to know what our metas are. It'll help to know so we can kind of check for ourselves what the relevant things are. I do agree that not having the ability to scrim is tricky, because that is one of the more difficult aspects of being in the niche metas to begin with, is you have to go out of your way to find people that even have stuff built. Mm-hmm. And that's I'm looking at Master League and Ultra League historically, but now, and it has included Great League to some degree, where someone like we talked about Citadel in the what is that meta called with the Primordial?
Oh God, I remember this.
They can be very one-off things, or even I talked about Farfetch'd in Serene in our last episode, where you wouldn't necessarily be able to practice against that. And those situations have gotten rarer, more and more rare for Great League in general. But this kind of makes that a problem again when it was less of a problem because, most people have most of the things built just as a general rule because we've been playing long enough, but now this has kind of added the stuff that most of us have avoided just because it didn't feel relevant. And hopefully it won't be, but even just knowing that you can't practice against it full stop is not super pleasant.
It's going to be a little difficult per se.
Anyway,
fun fact, Mega Altara actually loses to... It has 6 wins and 35 losses in the in the Open Great League against the meta. And all Pokemon, it has a near 50% win-loss rate.
Yeah. So and like I said, it'll be a lot easier to know when we have a better idea of what the arena is actually going to look like that these are entering into. So it's at its worst right now. And I'm glad to hear as well that Discourse was not just didn't go toxic is also I think a nice little check mark for us as a community.
No, that toxicity went somewhere else called Twitter X, and
I'm fine with that.
and that discussion was about what is the hardest game to get into, TCG, VGC, or Go. And my gosh, I was not. Nope. I play all 3. I am not going to answer that question on this podcast tonight because I'm getting a little tired. We're gonna have to wrap this episode up.
Yeah. Do you wanna do our quick check-in just on the meta usage stuff?
Sure. Yeah.
So we can get out of the thought bubble and into some actual Battle Frontier.
Correct. This is probably going to look very, very small on your screens. For some reason, what's it called? For some reason, the website or the link itself got kind of wonky and all the words are small, but we're going to do our best. So, here we go.
if you want to follow along, it is on the normal Battle Frontier site where it always lives. You just have to go to the player resource tab.
So this is the cumulative week 1, or cumulative from week 1 to playoffs. That's why you still see Cresselia and Chargebug up there. However, and for some reason it's stayed here. I haven't been able to move it. However, in recent weeks, we saw Galarian Stunfisk kind of stay at the top, and it has ranged true with 40% usage. Clodsire, Skeledirge sitting at 30, 38, 34% usage respectively, and then Cresselia and Vigoroth. So, 2 grounds, a fire, a normal, a psychic, and a dragon. Interesting pick. I don't know what's going on in the Open Great League, but I'm here for it.
So, well, and some of these are also like, I see we've kept our jungle teams.
Yeah.
Not that these were necessarily rare Pokemon in the meta, but when you're going from everyone playing week 7 to just a few teams per conference for the playoff usage, it gets a little bit more condensed.
Yeah. And then here, kind of, we have. I'm gonna kind of just lightning round through it if that's all right with you.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And so I'm glad that people essentially kept their Jungle Cup teams because they were really balanced. And even then, like Shadow Dragonair, use it. That's Shadow Dragonair, not Shadow Dragonite. Come on, Taco. Even with the Aqua Tail being able to like hurt the Galarian Stunfisk and the Clodsire with that, like I said, that Aqua Tail damage, and then still being able to kind of hold its own a little bit against Altaria. You're still losing, but Altaria is not getting out of there unscathed.
I think the only thing that's sticking out to me with the usage here is the big uptick is Vigoroth, and Clodsire at number 2 is just about as hard of a Vigoroth counter as you can get, short of Annihilate. And I'm not seeing a specific Clodsire counter. Like, you have to go decently far down in usage even to get like a legitimate Mudboy. Like the Shadow Quag is down at 13%.
Yeah, there it is.
And Shadow Feraligatr just under 12. So
Charjabug fell off on this one. And
Claude
Tressalia is just looking at me.
Claude looking pretty strong.
You must applaud the Claude at all times. All right, so that's Open Great League. In the Enchanted Field, Skeledirge bounced back hard. Like, it's at number 4 now. And week 7, it was sitting at 8, 4, 5. It was sitting at 6. So, an uptick in usage to 38%. Galarian Weezing, Annihilate, and Tapu Fini are still on over 50% of the teams.
Well, all changed. 3 of them are at 50% or better now.
Yeah.
where we had gotten down to only one of them being over 50, but again, condensing down, not too surprising.
That'll happen.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, other than that, nothing has really changed too much. Open Master League, Gyarados. It's Gyarados' league. Like, full stop. Gyarados is on 3 out of every 4 teams. Darien Landers and Florges are going to try to
basically
slow it down.
4 out of 5, yeah.
Yeah, basically 4 out of 5 teams will have it. Darien Landers, Florges, and Metagross are going to try to slow it down, but they're failing miserably. The new top Mega on the block, though, is Mega Ampharos. Just to slow regular Gyarados down.
Well, it is interesting to see it just in that way, because the one Master League battle that we covered last week, the Mega Ampharos got shut down pretty hard, but this is a good example of why it's moving up in the
why
meta,
it was
right?
brought. Yeah, why it was brought in particular. So
what they're hoping to see.
That Zacian hero also had to be running Wild Charge. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Well, it is one of those famous 3-slot Pokemon where it can do a variety.
Yep. All right, Serene Cup, no change.
I mean, you see, just by the numbers, like are 3, 4, 5, and 6 for Oinkologne and Noctowl, are they just moving up in usage, and placement is kind of the same? 3, 4, 5. So Oinkologne is still the same. Noctowl moved up.
Yeah, Noctowl moved up about 7%.
Well, like the percentages are whatever. I'm just looking at like overall, like Oinkologne is the 5th most used still, even as much as its usage percentage-wise went up. Yeah,
it's weird though. We also seeing Alola and Raichu get some percentage, even though its counters like Whiscash, Munchlax, Quagsire are like down there at the bottom. But maybe now like people are starting to use those counters less, which is letting the Alolan Raichu free. So. And then finally we have the Primordial Cup. Cradily, Sudowoodo, Milotic, Charjabug, Goodra, they all go Burr.
Yeah, and for how rock heavy this meta is, it's still amazing to me how Aurorus is chilling at over 30%.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with like the Sudowoodo and Cradily, just like absolutely. I think they both outpace, don't they? To the charge moves before Aurorus can get to like do some serious damage.
Aurora's at least has the 5-4 available for Weather Ball, which is more relevant into Cradily than it is Sudowoodo.
Okay. So that's not too bad.
Yeah. And I mean, you have it there to threaten the Meteor Beam against a lot of the other popular picks, right? Like,
yeah.
Milo is a big problem, even, unless you manage to land it. So
Milotic, Charjabug. I mean, Goodra you can use Weather Ball, so.
Well, and Charge is also neutral to the Weather Ball, so
yeah.
Not as problematic as the Milotic.
It's weird that it would be neutral, because ice, like electric doesn't resist ice, right?
No.
But isn't ice super effective into bug?
No.
Oh.
I feel like this is one of the ones that we've played around somewhat recently. Is the ice and bug interaction.
Yeah, I always thought like ice beat bug, which is weird.
Well, and that's one of those. If you watched like Fox and the Hound as a kid, like like the frozen caterpillar and stuff. So.
Yep. So it blew someone else's mind 10 years ago. All right, so. With that, we're going to move into the super quick Play Pokemon segment. I'm skipping over the commercial break.
Okay.
So here, the Play Pokemon segment, we have the local Pokemon Go Cup in Iowa City has been announced. It is May 18th at 4 p.m. Please come. I unfortunately will not be able to go because I will be down in Texas at that time, but there's like a lot of great battlers that come out, and you can still like get those last minute points in for your Worlds invites. I know some players are on the cusp of it. If you need directions, please send me a DM and I'll be more than happy to give you the address. The game shop is Critical Hit Games in Iowa City, Iowa. Best of luck to all trainers. Hope you get those points you need to make it to Hawaii. Now we're going to go ahead and just move on into the salsa bar / where's the bacon. Jet, what's your number?
So I'm up to 1829. And I found out Balboa Park is a Lechonk nest currently. So and hopefully that's on a longer rotation, but it could be linked to the event. I don't know. I might try to boost those numbers a bit.
All right. I finally have a salsa bar for this week.
Oh.
Okay. So my mother-in-law came over and was needing one of our vehicles, and me without thinking, I gave her the spare key that I use like in case I need to drive the car. Well, it was also community day, And I said, oh, I'm going to ride my bike to downtown. So as I'm packing everything up and I'm making sure I have my key, I realize my bike lock key was on the spare key, and I gave it to my mother-in-law, who drove across the state because she needed to use the car for family gathering. So guess who didn't get to ride their bike to community day to downtown?
How did you get there?
I called for I called for a ride, and then I started walking, and I said, hey, I'm at this park, can you come pick me up? So they picked me up and took me.
You used the power of friendship.
I did.
Nice.
And then they were nice enough to take me home, so I didn't have to walk back.
It's good to have a community.
It is, and honestly, it's a fun time. So afterwards, I realized I went and I found the spare bike key that is now sitting in my panniers for my bicycle. So if I ever lose those keys, I have a backup. Always have a backup.
Backup to the backup.
Pretty much, yeah. All right, so achievements this week. I don't think anybody posted any achievements.
Yeah, we made it through Jungle Cup. That was an achievement. We survived.
I don't understand why the hate for Jungle Cup, but
I mean, I didn't hate it. There were just several very polarizing matchups, so it could be a frustrating experience, especially if you just kind of snowballed down.
Mhm.
There wasn't a ton of neutral play, so it made things a little difficult.
Gotcha. Okay. I haven't played since Mega Heracross Raid Day. I need to play.
Now you got your choice of leagues, so
Yeah, I'll be doing that this week a little bit. And then, what about you for GBL progress? Are you at expert yet? Or
yeah, I did. I hit expert. I think between the first couple weeks of Jungle Cup, and then after that, I started to mess around again because that was my goal for this part of the season, was to get over that line, and then I was just trying to play more to get the dust, since it's been 4 times the whole way.
Gotcha.
And that's how I landed on the Steelix Dragalgi Altaria team, because it was not as stressful. There were more firm wins and losses that I didn't feel like I was just not trying hard enough with other teams.
Gotcha. Well, I'll get there eventually. Actually, no, I have to announce this race to hold myself accountable. I am racing Philo to Legend. We're starting, I think he's at 2,500.
We started.
Yeah, we started. I'm at 2,300. Yeah, we're the first one. The Legend wins a prize.
We'll have to do some in-house GBL stream.
Yeah, hold me accountable, please. If you comment in the YouTube channel or the Spotify, how's your race with Philo going? That will probably jog me in the.
It needs some kind of event name. It can't just be the Philo race.
The amazing race. No, we'll get copyright struck for that. We'll call it the Fudge.
What kind of play on Mantine and Flygon can we make?
The Top Flight, because both Pokemon that fly. Haha.
Haha.
I don't know. We'll be spitballing ideas. If you have a creative name, by all means, do it and submit it into the Discord, Twitter.
that can be our secondary.
Even down in the YouTube channel.
Question of the week.
So, with that, we're coming to the end of the episode.
Where we're going to thank our patrons.
Yeah! We're going to thank our patrons. Y'all are the absolute most wonderful people. We love y'all's support week in and week out, and we appreciate everything, or your kind donations. If you want to get involved, you can support the show for as little as $1. Our Patreon link is going to be listed down below. Enter the Dragoner's Den podcast. Thanks to our Dragon Egg patrons. Thanks Obama, CT Smith, Sotiri, and DeFi250, and our Baby Dragon tier, Reviving Ophelia and Herm13. We love you guys oh so very much. And yeah, like, we couldn't do this without you. We appreciate everything y'all do. So with that, of course, Discord. Socials are going to be down in the YouTube description, listed down below. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun jazz. I sound so cringe saying it, but apparently it's the meta for YouTube. So
yeah, all the words that matter.
Yeah, insert YouTube buzzwords here, here, and here.
Yeah.
Now it's time for the actual sign off. Always remember, keep those dragon fangs sharp. Stay away from those fairy types. Until next time, we will see you all in our next episode. Bye-bye.